Thanks, Paul.
Good evening, everyone. For those that weren't here earlier, Councillor Raper has given his apologies for the meeting. So, as Vice Chair, I will be chairing the meeting tonight. It's held virtually, as you're all aware. I'm sure you know your own exit areas. So, is there any more apologies for absence?
No other apologies, Chair.
Okay. So we'll move on to the agenda and move to the minutes of the meeting held on the 21st of January 2021. I will move that if somebody will second it.
Happy to second those, Tracy.
Thanks, Will. So bear with me. So I move that the minutes of the meeting of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee held on the 21st of January 2021 be approved. Do
you want to do a roll call on that, Chair?
If nobody's against them, I think we can just have it recorded.
That's right, Chair. We can take it by the assent of the meeting if there's nobody objecting.
Is there any objections from anybody?
No.
Okay. Could you record that then, please?
Okay, no problem, Chair.
Okay, thanks. We've not received any urgent business. So moving on to declarations of interest. Is there any members need to indicate whether they're declaring any interests under the Code of Conduct for tonight's meeting?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No.
Okay. No.
Sorry, can I just check the policy and resources? We'll be discussing policy and resources later, aren't we? And
yes.
I think they briefly discussed the Milton rooms. Is that in the pack? I can't remember seeing it, but if it is, I need to declare that I'm a member of the Milton Rooms Management Committee. I think it was discussed at Policy and Resources on the 4th of February. Yeah.
It was discussed then.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So.
And the same will, Tracy, sorry, Ray King, the same will apply to me.
Okay. Simon, what happens then? Will they have to go out of the meeting if that's discussed? Or?
If members of the committee wanted to discuss that particular item from Policy and Resources, then it would be advisable to leave the meeting for that discussion, because as members of the management committee at the Milton Rooms, it would be a personal and pecuniary interest. So I think it would be dependent on whether there's any discussion, but we might want to leave that to the end of any discussion if there were comments or questions people wanted to raise.
Okay, thanks for that, Simon. So could you note the declarations of interest from Councillor King and Councillor Garbett-Moore?
Yes, no problem.
So moving on the agenda to item number 6, and that's customer complaints and compliments. And I think, Will, is that you?
It is, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Good evening, members. Just to give you a bit of and also gives a year-to-date position as well. So just to recap, I think I do this when I present this report every time, but in terms of the procedure that we follow at the council, we obviously aim to resolve complaints at the point of service delivery as quickly as possible in an informal manner, but there is a 2-stage complaints process that kicks in if citizens remain dissatisfied. So there's stage 1, which is usually answered by the service manager. If the person remains dissatisfied, they can move on to stage 2, which is usually answered by the head of service. And then there's a stage 3 process, which is where the person can go on to the local government and social and care ombudsman. So the report sets out the position up to the end of quarter 3. So between October and December, we had 7 corporate complaints that were received. 6 of those were answered at stage 1, and 1 of them remained dissatisfied and went on to stage 2. But that 1 complaint hasn't gone any further as of of today. So the breakdown of the complaint is shown at section 6.4 of the covering report. So moving to the year-to-date position, there have been 31 complaints received so far. 29 of those were at stage 1, with 2 moving on to stage 2. This is a noticeable reduction in the number of complaints we've received compared to previous years. So at this stage last year, we had 48 complaints, of which 34 were dealt with at stage 1 and 14 moved on to stage 2. So you can see a bit of a difference there. In terms of the average response times at stage 1, up to the end of December, it was 7.39 days for stage 1 and 12.5 days for stage 2. And I mean, in terms of the complaints we've received, it's usually the customer-facing services that have received the complaints. But when I move on to the compliments, you'll see that's kind of replicated as well. As part of the learning process from the complaint that we receive and the actions that we've taken, there is an appendices to the report which lays out some of the lessons learned and goes through the actions taken and that sort of thing. I will just move on to the compliments if that's okay. So we've had 81 compliments so far up to the end of quarter 3. Most of these have been in response to have been received in response to the COVID action taken by the council. So you'll see there's appreciation for the work of street scene, business supports grants and the administration and giving out of those, revenues and benefits and customer services. In particular, just focusing in on the last quarter, so again from October to December, we've seen an increase in compliments for the business support grants, corporate governance and the planning and regulatory services teams. And we've got some examples of those that have been received at section 6.11 of the covering report. In terms of some of the trends on the compliment side, I mean, obviously it's an increase from what we've had previously. And then on the complaint side, we've had a reduction, but again, it's been based around that COVID response as well. So I'm happy to take any questions members have got on the report or the appendices.
Thanks, Will. Does anybody have any questions? And Councillor Rain?
Oh, thank you. I don't know if it's the appropriate time, so just stop me. I have passed this on at a National Health Creations meeting, and I've been volunteering with the vaccines at Derwent Surgery, just getting people out the car, helping and so on. And I was very, very concerned the last day that I was there, a couple of weeks ago now, last week, that I saw Rycat, actually Rycare, you know, the transport, is it Rycat?
Yeah.
I saw the car, or minibus, whatever, it come once, and the amount of the people, and they were all elderly, paying an enormous amount of money for taxis to come and get the vaccines. I was really, really taken back with it. So I don't know if it's appropriate, but can that be sort of brought up at some point or discussed, or who? If you let me know who I can get in touch with, so I can discuss it, because there's something gone drastically wrong.
Chair, could I come in on this one? It's Councillor Gill. Sorry, I still can't get my camera to work. Just for information, Rycat are actually providing lifts to vaccine clinics free, both in Malton and Pickering, and also taking people over to the clinics in York, the big vaccination centres in York. So it's a free service at the moment, Councillor Rain.
No, sorry. It's basically the fact that there was everybody was paying for a taxi, and I thought, why do they not know about this service that's free?
Yeah. Right, I'm not sure if it is the right time to be discussing it at the moment. Will, can you offer any assistance on that? Or
On that one, I mean, I have been volunteering down at the surgery, and I have seen the Rycat drop off on several occasions. It's right out there on the social media, and it's in all the newsletters that the COVID groups and things are sending out, as Di will tell you. So the information is out there. I think we've got this usual problem of not everybody sees it, and if they see it, they don't do anything necessarily about it, or they don't, it's that mismatch. But there's plenty of information out there telling people it is a free service. And in fact, a lady that I still shop for, going right back way through this, she actually used it and got nothing but compliments for the way that the service looked after her. So I think it's out there. It's just this usual thing of how do we get it out there more.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry to bring it up if it's not the right time. Thank you.
That's okay. Have you got any other questions, anybody?
Chair, it's just Margaret here. Councillor, I'm quite happy to kind of pick that up with you. We do normally encourage people to go with family and friends first to get to their vaccinations, and that's the reason why, but we realise not everybody will be able to do that, so that's why the service was kind of set up in that way. But happy to kind of give you any updates through that, through the community support organisations and the support they're putting in for the vaccinations, if that would help.
Thank you.
Councillor Oxley?
Yeah, a question if I can for Will. It's probably early days, Will, and good to see the way these trends are moving, but I'm just interested in whether or not we think the employment of enforcement officers has helped in any way to deal with these complaints, or even to keep the number down by doing things before they become a complaint, or is there no evidence of that yet?
I don't know whether Margaret wants to come back in.
Do you want me to come in there? Well, I would say likely not at this moment in time. I wouldn't say there's any evidence to that, but yeah, I mean they're out and about quite a lot, and we'll start to bring stuff back to the different committees about that. But I wouldn't say that. I think we've just had a real big push on how we handle complaints, councillor, just across all of the services, and trying to handle them at the first point of contact and trying to be excellent customer service, so rather than kind of letting them escalate. So I think that's maybe where it came in. We have looked at the procedures and we're starting to change them, and there's going to be training coming up with the Ombudsman in April and May for staff as well. So we're really hoping that it's because of the work that we've been doing in the background that's actually helping with a lot of the responses around the complaints.
Okay, thanks for that, Margaret. Councillor Rain, do you have a further question?
It's mainly just to say, reading this report, I think it's marvellous the time, how quickly things have been dealt with, and I just want to say well done, everyone.
Okay, thank you. So is there any further questions? Councillor Oxley.
It's not a question, but if I can just pick up on that last comment, I just want to agree with Councillor Rain. I think in the circumstances, with everything else we've been managing, and I probably understand that members of the public maybe have been a little more gentle than in normal times, but I think this is an amazing performance given everything else that's been going on, and something that we should all be singing about to anybody who'll listen as individual councillors. Yeah. So when somebody now moans at me that their 2 bits of paper were dropped out of their bin, I actually go back to them now and say, well, why don't you go on our street seeing what they were doing the night before when 2 bits of paper dropped out of your bin? I'm getting a bit awkward, but I just want us all to sing the praises of what we're achieving.
Yeah, I think we can all see that we're doing a good job, and a pat on the back for everybody involved, staff members. Okay. So, any further questions?
No.
No. So, can I move that the report is approved? Do we have to do that, Simon?
Yes, Chair, there's a recommendation to note the report on complaints and compliments. So when that's moved and seconded, that can be done with the assent of the meeting if nobody objects, or if there's different opinions, we can move to a vote. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. So I'd move to note and approve the report if somebody can second.
I'm happy to second that.
Happy to second that.
Thank you. So is there any objections?
No.
No, so we don't need to go to a vote. So if you could record that, Simon. Right, so the next the item on the agenda is the decisions from other committees, and it's concerning the Policy and Resources Committee held on the 4th of February 2021. You should have all received the minutes. Can I confirm that? Yeah, okay. I think if we go through it, but then if we can leave any issues on the Milton routes to last, if possible, because then it can give Councillor King and Councillor Garbett more the chance to vacate the meeting. So is there any questions on the minutes? Has anybody got their hands up?
Sorry, it's Councillor Rain. I'm trying to find them just to go through quickly on my iPad. Maybe tell me the date that it was sent.
Oh, I can't because I'm having the same issue, Angela.
It was sent on Monday.
Thank you.
1520, Chair.
Can you find it, Angela?
I'm sorry, I can't. You carry on. I'll keep looking.
Would you like me to forward you another copy? I can do that now.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
Okay.
So has anybody got any questions on the minutes from the Policy and Resources? No? Will, you're on mute.
Not like me. Like you and Councillor King as one of the official observers, I think the minutes themselves are completely true reflection of the meeting. It's wonderful the way you can condense 4.5 hours into that, isn't it?
Quite an amazing feat, yeah. So if there's no questions, I'll move to have it noted and approved. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll move to have the minutes from the Policy and Resources Committee held on the 4th of February 2021 noted and approved. Do we need to vote on that? Is there any objections?
No.
So I can't see any hands up, Simon, so can that be recorded?
No.
Yes, we'll record that for the minutes, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else I should be doing at this point, Simon?
No, there's nothing further on this item if nobody's got any questions to raise.
Okay, thank you. So I'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the overview and scrutiny forward plan. Somebody's got the hand raised. I think somebody's got the hand raised, Simon, but I can't see it on my screen.
I think Tracy. I think it's a legacy hand.
Oh right, okay. So does somebody need to go through this, Simon?
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to just run through the items that are pending in the forward plan, if that would be helpful for members. So you'll probably be aware, because this is a regular item on the committee, that the council has a forward plan for business for its committees, not just for overview and scrutiny, but for policy and resources as well, to help with planning what items are coming forward. So this is the plan for the next few meetings of this committee. You'll see that at the March meeting of this committee, we're due to consider an item on community safety, the Safer Ryedale Forward Plan. And then for the April meeting of this committee, that's primarily an audit meeting, so there's a number of audit items of business, and there may also be a standards item because of overview and scrutiny effectively having three roles. It's the scrutiny committee, the audit committee, and the standards committee. So I'm happy to take any questions on the forward plan if members have got any.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the forward plan? Will, you're on mute again. No questions?
No.
No. So do we have to move that, Simon, as well?
I think that can just be noted, Chair. So if the committee are happy to do that and no one's got any objections.
Yep, so can that be noted, please?
Okay.
And move on to item 8 then. Any other business that the chairman can decide is urgent, which nothing's been brought to my attention. And I believe that nothing was brought to your attention either, Simon, is that correct?
That's correct, Chair.
So is there anything else that needs to be done, or is that the quickest overview and scrutiny meeting that has ever occurred?
There's no other business, Chair, so we can close the meeting. It may be a bit of a record.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for attending and for being kind. I'll bring this meeting to an end.
Well done, Tracy.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks.
Well, that's your reputation gone through the roof now.
Well done. Cheers.
Come on, you, Ray.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Um,
All right. Good night.
Bye.
If IT could stop